I gotta say, you're not somebody I would have expected to get a call from. Well, that's fair. That's fair, given my history, yes. But nonetheless, I need your help. Ollie was surprised to get a call from Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez, after all, had been, well, the mad scientist who had been behind the giant gummy monster that had stomped around Towson. So you're out of jail, I guess. Yes, I am. It was all a big misunderstanding. I said, you mean when you created a giant gummy bear robot and destroyed a large part of Towson? Yes. See, the thing is, I have a mental condition, and I'd misapplied my medication. I was feeling very strange. I was not in control of myself. It's terrible. I feel awful. But I went to the mental hospital. I'm feeling much better now. But I do have a problem. And for that problem, I need your help very much. I said, all right, you know what? All right, sure, whatever, what's going on? I have misplaced my latest gummy monster. Well, gummy robot. It's not really a monster. I said, I'm not encouraged by the Freudian slip there, but okay, tell me more. How big is this one? Well, that's just the thing. This one is quite small. Tiny. It's bigger than a regular gummy bear, mind you, but it's, I don't know, maybe the size of let's say 3 gummy bears. It's about the size of 3 normal gummy bears. I said, all right. And other than that, it's similar to the giant one, yes. The electronics are the same, well, not the same, but, improved and miniaturized, most importantly. And the working principle is the same. It was very difficult to miniaturize everything and give it the same level of control that it had. And of course, I had to add, remote control because you were inside the original one, precisely. So the problem was, I decided to try an artificial intelligence. It was going to be it was just going to be cooler, basically. I could have just done it as a pure remote control, but that would have made it actually more complicated to control because it's kind of a complex control. And so having the AI to assist would let me give it to basic instructions. And at first it was working. I said, hold on, I should probably come and meet you in person. Because it sounds like this thing, we don't want to lose any time. Good point. Thank you. Yes, that's a good point. My lab is here in Timonium, just up York Road from where we had the incident before. And he gave all the address, and I said, all right, I can be there, looks like in about 25 minutes. I said, okay, I'll keep looking, and yes, that'd be great. Thank you. Elsie, can you stop messing up your hair, please? It was kind of a nondescript building, not quite a warehouse, not quite an office building, just kind of a random looking building. And there was a small sign that said Rodriguez Laboratories. 1 car in the parking lot. So Ollie knocked on the door, and immediately Dr. Rodriguez answered. Ollie, thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad you came so quickly. I hear we should shut the door. I said, okay. You see, I think it's somewhere here. I can't be sure. But the whole building is all weather tight. It's, I did it to make it very energy efficient and to be quiet so none of the neighbors could, hear what I was doing if I was doing something loud. So it's all locked up tight like a drum, and there's an air conditioning system, but that's all up in the ceiling. And like I said, it's small. And I don't think it could climb. It could run, it could walk, it could jump a little bit, but not all the way up to the ceiling. No, more like the size, yeah, about there. A little smaller. About there, yes. Um, I said, okay, so tell me what happened. Okay, so I was, like I said, I was, I was testing the artificial intelligence, and I wanted to give it the instruction to hop down off of the table, walk to the other side of the room, and walk back. And I did that, and it worked fine. And then I picked it up, and I put it back on the table, and I thought I did. I turned off. I didn't give it any more instructions, I guess I should say. I put it over kind of by the little remote charging thing I have for it. And he showed Ollie this sort of remote charging thingy that kind of beamed electromagnetic radiation over to the thing to charge the battery. And then I went to make myself a cup of coffee, and I could take some notes. When I got back, it was gone. I checked my computer, and there weren't any like clear instructions sent to it, but there was some gobbledygook typed and entered. And I don't know if it sent that as an instruction or what. All I really know is that it's gone. And I was going to work on adding some like tracking device to the next generation, but I haven't gotten that in yet. So it's got to be somewhere, and it's my prototype. It's going to be actually a way more useful than the giant one. The giant one didn't actually make a whole lot of sense, but it was cool, but not very useful. But this one, you could imagine doing all kinds of things. All right, I said, let's retrace your steps. So you were here. You didn't give it any instructions, but the system was on. Right. All right. Show me where your coffee, were you like in a kitchen? Yeah, there's a kitchen. Here, I'll show you. And they walked over, and there was a little, two doors, basically. And one of them led to a kitchen, and the other led to an office. But the office was pretty much empty. I said, yeah, I don't use the office, really. My computer, all my work stuff's out here. It's just me here sometimes. One of my collaborators comes to visit, but mostly it's just me, so I don't really have any need for the office. The whole place is my office. So it's just a storage in there. But I use the kitchen a lot, and that's where the coffee maker is. Would you like a cup of coffee, Ollie? I said, sure, yeah. Since we're simulating what happened, after all. And I said with a smile. So I made Ollie a cup of coffee. This coffee's a little bitter. Do you want like a little sprinkle of sugar? I said, no, I'll drink it black, thank you. Suit yourself. I made Ollie coffee. He said, so this is about how long it took. I said, yeah. And I'd say that I was gone from the desk for 4 minutes, something like that, not for long. And then I walked out. He handed Ollie the coffee and let him out of the office, or the kitchen, rather. I walked out here, I grabbed my notebook from that table there, and a pen, and came over here, and it was just gone. I said, can you show me the instruction that you said that something was entered into the computer? Yeah, let me bring up the log. And he pressed some buttons on the computer. I said, so here's my instructions, you see. I told her to get down, jump off of the table, walk to the edge of the room, and walk back. And then next from that is just this nonsense string of characters. And all I saw, and it was like 15 or so, just a random jumble of numbers and letters. I said, huh. And then it was gone. Yeah. So, well, can you make any sense of it? Can you tell me what you would expect the bear to do if you gave it that instruction? I wouldn't expect it to do anything. So it's a natural language artificial intelligence, right? So it's designed, and it's a package that I bought and modified. It's designed to take verbal instructions like you might type or speak and translate that into computer instructions, right? And so since this doesn't make any sense, not in my language, not in any language, in any case, I only have the English language enabled on the AI. It shouldn't have interpreted anything. It should have just given an error message. In fact, it does even give an error message right there, if you look. And underneath, there was a little, input not understood message. So, and if you got that kind of thing, And it wouldn't have moved. Shouldn't have moved with an input not understood. Just then, Ollie saw something out of the corner of his eye, dart across the other side of the warehouse. So what was that? What was what? I saw something. Run by. Are you sure you're here alone? Dr. Rodriguez struck a defensive posture. I'd better be. This is some top secret stuff. You said you saw something or someone? I said, I'm going to call it something. It looked small. Like 3 times the size of a gummy bear? I said, no, bigger than that. Like the size of a small animal. I said, oh, I wouldn't worry about that. That's probably just Mr. Mittens. I said, Mr. Mittens? Yeah, my cat. I have a cat. The cat is here. It's a lab cat. Most labs you can't have a cat, but this lab, I make my own rules, you know? I said, well, you made that clear. Where does Mr. Mittens, he said? Mr. Mittens, yeah. Where does Mr. Mittens, hang out? Or would he come if you called him? He wouldn't come if I called him, but I can show you where he likes to hang out. And they walked over to the other end of the lab, and there was like a broom closet and stuff. And next to the broom closet were some crates, and on top of the crates were this like sisal cat bed thing. And there indeed was the cat. It was a big cat, big orange cat. Stop it, Elsa. Just like a regular orange tabby cat. That Garfield is also a tabby cat, yes. That pattern is just called tabby, but that's kind of tigerish. Yeah, like Garfield. Yes. Where was I? Oh yes. When Ollie looked, he saw that Mr. Mittens was nibbling on something. He said, "Can you pick Mr. Mittens up?" Sure. And Dr. Rodriguez picked Mr. Mittens up, and something fell out of his mouth back into the sisal cat bed. Ollie reached up and picked up a small box, a very small box, that was slightly covered in some sort of sticky red goo. And I said, Dr. Rodriguez, I've got some bad news. Does this box ring a bell for you? Dr. Rodriguez's eyes went wide. Said, Mr. Mittens, no, bad Mr. Mittens. You can't eat my experiments. Cats don't even like jelly. Gummy, dang it, cat. Oh, that ruins days and days of work. It's hard to put little things to make it oh, Mr. Mittens. And he shook a fist at Mr. Mittens. Ollie, I feel very silly calling you here for such a mundane mystery. I said, hey, it's no problem. Sometimes the culprit is who you least expect it. And that was Ollie, in the case of the tiny gummy bear robot.